I also paint. I paint this mini, so I'm doing that right now. We're not going to make our February goal. That's unfortunate. All right, that's fine. We can start it over in March. We only had 2 weeks, though, and we got 1 sub, so that was cool. Um, Time to gift 4 subs. I'm not going to gift subs to myself. That's stupid. All right. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like, look how the chess is. Like, the border around the chessboard, I really like. And I feel like if we had a border around the painting thing and like a little space for my gecko thing, for my cam, and then like a built-in place for the sub, it would be really cool. That would be really cool. Be a good second screen to do, and I think it would be probably pretty easy because it's mostly just like a purple. It's just like a purple square, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna put some highlights on his ankles. Hold on, I'm gonna switch my mic. Okay. So basically what I'm doing today is I just want to see how it looks with the highlights on. So I'm not going to paint for long right now. Do I do that or do I do all of the ropes on his wrists? And the ropes like on his side. Look how I fucked this up. I got a red mark there. I want to highlight the anklets and see how it looks and make sure it's how I want before I go about this same thing on everything. Oh, you already did it. Oh, okay. I was over here to like do that because I was like, fuck. I don't know if I get more. I don't know if the algorithm works better if it's art or if it's games Warhammer. Because lately I've been doing games Warhammer. So yeah, maybe we'll just see how it goes. I don't get a lot of, neither of those things get a lot of viewers, but you know, yeah. Anyway, gonna go back to using our like super tiny brush. It's like really, really small. And our super awesome ultra nerd glasses. And we're just gonna do a little bit of highlights here. Just so that next time I want to be able to do like the rest of the ropes and get all the base coats and do all of the stuff on the ropes. And I want to be able to get this front part finally finished like I had talked about so that I can put that center shield over it. So, we're using Screaming Skull, which is pretty white. It looks whiter than it is. I've done this a few times. It's kind of yellow. Makes sense for art. Whatever you think. Your job. I know my arm is in the way of the camera. My apologies. This thing is all. Okay. So ideally, the stream's not going to go much longer, but ideally, this is really going to make these things pop. They already look so much cooler than they did before, but these highlights should be super cool. So. Man. Immediately I remember how tedious this is. Immediately like, oh shit, this was a ton of work, I forgot. It's raining outside and it's awesome because my office is literally in a garage right now. Like literally. It's like there's a parking spot right over there. Which is fine because the weather here is awesome. So like it's never a problem. And I get like total privacy. But it's even cooler when it rains. Because you get that like real like awesome like rain falling on metal sound. Cause I'm like basically outside. Alright, so like look the difference there. Yeah, that bottom rope. I put it on here. That looks super cool. I think that's what we're shooting for. I'm feeling good about it. It's gonna make it really stand out, and I'm excited. I want to see it on the whole mini, on the whole anklet. I mean, see how it looks. Frankly, I may even have to do like 2 passes of it. Because I'm using a really, really light brush right now. Or really, really thin paint right now. And it looks great when it goes on. It's going to dry a lot darker. It's not going to stand out quite as much after it dries, I guess is what I'm saying. Alright, I think that looks super cool. If you look at that compared to this one, it makes this one almost look gray, and this is not gray. But this one's just so much brighter in comparison. I think that looks great. That is definitely the look that I'm going for, and that makes me happy because that means I can continue on. And it also means that the color scheme that I picked out and the way that I envisioned it was correct. It's ultimately going to end up looking the way that I want it to. Versus looking at it and going, that's not really what I wanted. And then having to come up with a new color plan. Which has happened more times than I can count. But it's always nice when that doesn't happen. And you feel like, hey, I did something right. Because you know what? There's already enough times in life where you do everything wrong. You don't need more of them. It's my opinion, at least. Maybe I just do a lot of things that are wrong in life, and I assume that that's how life works, but that's how it feels. Yeah, I really like this. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Highlighting all the stitching, you can see the difference between the rope where it's like bright and the rope where it's like almost looks gray. Like I said, it's not gray. We started with an actual gray. This is gray. And then you can see how this is like brighter than that. And then this is brighter than that. So we're coming up bit by bit. Sort of slowly adding more highlights. Kind of slowly trying to bring the color up. Increase the contrast. Really make it eye-catching. Which is already hard enough to do when what you're painting isn't fucking tiny. It's funny because when you paint a really big mini, you go into it thinking like, this won't be nearly as bad as my last one because this mini is really big. So I won't have like as many like tiny fine details to paint because look how big he is. And you know, now that I say that, it already sounds stupid that I even think that even for a second. Because the obvious truth is that it's just a really big mini with more places for details. So the idea that that even crossed my mind at this point just seems ludicrously stupid. As soon as I vocalized it out loud, I immediately felt like a moron. So, that's fun. You can just pretend I didn't say it. It's probably the best way to handle it. Just pretend it didn't happen. I didn't hear it, you didn't hear it. I don't know if I'm in camera right now, but no, I was not. Not at all. But yeah, look at how that's coming together. That looks super sick. It almost feels like I didn't do this section and it needs more. I might not have done it, actually. I think that's why it felt like that, because I didn't actually do it. Somehow, I skipped over that whole front part. Yeah. So that was really hard to determine how much highlight I should put on stuff. The eternal balance that I will never stop talking about. Highlighting it so that it looks cool and stands out, and recognizing that it's not like a real life sculpture, like I'm not trying to make high art here. And the other side of the balance, which is So you also don't want it to look like a cartoon. I think I'll probably talk about that until the day I stop painting, because that's like literally the bane of my painting career. Just like constantly being like, oh, did I go too far? Did I not go far enough? All right, so you can see the difference between these two, like drastically. And it's funny because, like I said, the one looks gray now. But it's not, because we started with gray, and then we put color on it. We put Carrick Stone on it, and it was no longer gray. You could tell the difference between the gray and it. But now that we've highlighted this, you see these are like ropes. This one looks gray. The other one looks gray. It's funny how comparison colors look. Do that to each other. Yep. Are you in agreement with what I'm saying? Figuring out how much highlights and what makes it look cartoony? Is that what your yap is? Acknowledging. Why do I have no BTTV? All of these are emotes. Or 7TV for that matter. Because I haven't set it up. Can't you set that shit up? Isn't that like, wasn't that your job? Didn't you just say that was your job? You literally just said it was your job. Then you asked me why I don't have it. I think I gave you like access to my whole stream, and you did like everything at one point. You have to have the add-on on your browser to see them. Oh. Oh, you mean like, why don't I personally have them? I think I had BTTV at one point, but like, I think my chat just looked like emotes all the time. Because so many people just talk in emotes. And I didn't know what those emotes meant. And I didn't feel like learning it. So I just took it off. So I was just seeing random emotes all the time. And sometimes they were funny, and sometimes I understood them, but sometimes they were just weird. And I didn't know what the fuck the person was trying to say. And there was just like a wall of emotes. And you know, like, I'm just getting old, Infernos. Start getting confused with these kids' technology these days, you know? I'm like, turn that shit off. Turn those emotes down. I am definitely going to have to touch up this red. I say it every time I work on these ropes, but it's so tiny that I just always make mistakes. But I'll get to it after I'm done. These touch-ups are pretty quick, and I just usually do them like last thing before the mini's finished. My hand is in the way of the camera. Like, this is so hard to do. On camera. But it gets me focused and makes me do it. So I do appreciate that part. If only you could have the camera mounted to the ceiling so it's a bird's eye view. Bruh, then my head would be in the way. Like, everything would be in the way all the time. There's no way of getting around it, I think. It's just so small. The things you're painting are so tiny that it feels almost like... feels almost impossible to get, like, an actual good angle for the camera. Okay. Rinse this off. We have paint in places we do not want our paint. Okay, I have to do the ropes on the back of the legs. Getting a little bit faster as we go. Also, arguably, we're getting a little bit sloppier, so I don't know if that's better or not, but... way easier to touch up the red, though, than it is to do this. So, if I can do this quickly, and then just touch it up later, we'll save a lot more time. I'm trying to do this perfectly the first time. Whew, man. This like saps my concentration. And like energy levels. Just completely saps it. Because it's just so hard to stay this focused on something this small. This long. It hasn't even been that long. It's just, it's so small. I like squinting with these magnifying glasses on. And like this tiniest brush movement is like almost too much brush movement. It's also so easy to make mistakes. It's crazy. All right. We're almost done though, so we can be happy about that. Short little painting stream today. Just a short one. And we'll be able to stop afterwards and say, look what we did. For example, look how we just fucked that up. Now we're going to have to repaint this whole red square because of how badly we fucked that up. Look what we did. That wasn't why I was hoping to say that to start with, but... Alright. Okay. there it is. You can see the difference. It looks way different. And I'm super happy because this is exactly the look that I wanted. Short art stream so you can go play Sith Slays Fire after. No, I have a physical therapy appointment in 25 minutes. And I want to download this and upload another video. So yeah, this looks exactly the way I wanted it to look, which is awesome. That makes me super happy. I love the stitching. I love the rope. I think it looks super cool. So that stitching is going to be all over the center part, and I'll wash the stitching a little bit. And then I have a debate about if I'm going to stipple the highlights onto this to make it look like leather. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. That's a ton of work. I would probably have to do it to the entire, like everything that I've done, including this part. I don't know how far I want to go with that. But I do know this opens the door to me saying, okay, cool, I've done enough. Or this is the right look for me. So now I can do all the stitching in the center. I can do all the ropes on his side, on his back, on his arms. I can do all the stitching there. There's stitching on the back of his back there. So I'm free to just go to town on that. And most importantly, that means I can do the stitching here. And then I can finally install the thing I've been talking about installing forever. Which is the centerpiece for his belly. Because even if we're going to stipple, the majority of the work will be done, and we can just stipple around it, and it will be, we'll be able to move forward. We'll be able to officially put that on there, and that'll be part of his body and not just something that dangles like that. So that's really exciting, and that is where we are. Yeah. Nice. Not almost done, actually. You say almost done, but the truth is, like, he has multiple other things going on. Suddenly, when I said that, it made me look for something that I can't. Okay. So, yeah, there's more hair. He has this, like, weird ponytail thing going over his head. Like this. That needs to be painted. He also has more pieces that need to go on. So this is like, not only do I have to paint this whole weapon and that whole arm, and then like also highlight it and stuff, because you can see, if you compare these two, you can see how different the colors are based on where the light's hitting. So there'll be a lot of shading there after I do the whole weapon. Then there's going to be all the touch-ups, but I believe... Let me just double check. I believe there's actually more to him than just this. So yeah, there's a few trinkets that go on. Yeah, he has a whole, so... Like, he has a few trinkets, like... Here. This is a document camera, so it should work really well. Yeah, you can see. He's not supposed to be bald. Yeah, no, I mean, he's bald, except he has, like, that ponytail coming out of the top. There's like these trinkets that like hang on the shield belt, which I haven't put on yet. But then even more than that, there's like a whole like shield and weapon thing that goes on his back here. And that has like another like net thing. A second net piece, like it's two pieces. It has to be painted separately. This is kind of how they're doing it, but I don't know how I'm gonna do it. But I mean, even that, like, these are just shields that are unpainted. These take me forever, because I'm just not that good at it. Like, these came out really well, Because I'm doing non-metallic metal, so like it's not actually, those reflections are all fake. I just painted them in. But like it's just white over here and it's brown over here. I think if you look up closely, you can kind of see it. So it takes a long time. But there's like 2 more shields over here. And then there's like the whole rock and all of these like chain around here. More ropes. Holy shit, more ropes. And then just like the shading of the whole body. So yeah, there's still a lot to go. But I say that, but we're making progress. So not almost done, but progress. Going through companies' Adobe stock license history for prior photos we've gotten. Searched orange, got a carrot. Perfect. All right, sweet. I gotta go. I have a physical therapy appointment in 18 minutes. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you next stream. And yeah.